1260 KDUZ News. I'm Mark Wodarczyk. A Henderson man is in critical condition after a one-vehicle crash early yesterday morning in Sibley County north of Henderson. 29-year-old Gabriel Rave was taken to HCMC in Minneapolis for treatment. State Patrol says Rave was driving westbound on Highway 19 when he left the roadway near 361st Avenue and rolled. The patrol says Rave was thrown from the vehicle. Crash happened just before 6 yesterday morning. Minnesota State Patrol has updated its investigation of a three-vehicle crash Friday morning on Highway 7 and Babcock Avenue in McLeod County north of Lester Prairie. According to the State Patrol, an SUV driven by 19-year-old Devin Zitzloff of Cokato was southbound on Babcock Avenue when he entered the intersection and was struck by a westbound minivan driven by Leah Plath of Chanhassen. The SUV rolled into the eastbound traffic lane and was struck by a pickup driven by 35-year-old Christopher Schrader of Hector. Zitzloff was taken to North Memorial Medical Center in Robbinsdale for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. Plath was treated and released from Ridgeview Medical Center in Waconia. 4 passengers in her vehicle, ranging from 6 to 12 years old, were not injured. The patrol says Schrader was also not injured. A former Lutheran pastor from Earl Gibbon goes on trial this week on charges he had illegal sexual contact with a 16-year-old girl. 52-year-old David Radke is charged with third-degree criminal sexual conduct and 2 other felonies. Prosecutors allege the former pastor of St. Peter's Lutheran Church gave the girl late-night back massages and touched her sexually several times in his home last May. The trial is scheduled to start tomorrow in Sibley County District Court. A city councilwoman who publicly called for the suspension of Danube's police chief for alleged wrongdoing has pleaded guilty to embezzling from the city. 59-year-old Sharon Lothert pleaded guilty to felony theft and misconduct by a public official Friday. Consumers across Minnesota continue to take advantage of historically low interest rates and lower prices by purchasing homes and showing more confidence in the housing market. Chris Galler is with the Minnesota Association of Realtors.
Pending transactions are up again over last year, and the number of closed transactions has increased. And we're in the 20% range for increases, so we're very confident that now after 5 months we're starting to see some consistency in the real estate market.
Galler says pending sales are up more than 40% and closing sales are up 24% compared to September of last year. University of Minnesota is flipping a switch on a new wind research station this week. The research station includes a 420-foot-tall wind turbine and a 426-foot-tall meteorological research tower at the Umore Park property in Rosemount. The public commissioning ceremony is scheduled for Tuesday afternoon. American Crystal Sugar and its union workers are to resume negotiations today. About 1,300 workers have been locked out of 5 sugar beet processing plants in Minnesota, North Dakota, and Iowa since August 1st. The factories have been using replacement workers. Republican presidential candidate Michelle Bachmann is brushing off the idea that her campaign is all but giving up on winning the New Hampshire primary. The Minnesota Congresswoman told Fox News Sunday yesterday that she's replacing her New Hampshire staff, but remains focused on winning Iowa's leadoff caucuses on January 3rd. The president is embarking on another road trip. More from ABC's Brad Wheelis.
Focus on the White House. President Obama is on a swing through western states as he continues pushing his jobs plan. ABC's Ann Compton.
In a feisty statement, when the Senate again rejected his jobs plan last week, President Obama declared, "Our fight isn't over." And he is taking that fight west on the road in a series of political fundraisers in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Denver. There will be a couple of public events, too, making the case for his jobs bill. Brad?
The president's decision to pull all troops out of Iraq this year is being criticized by Republicans, including Senator John McCain.
It's a serious mistake. I believe we could have negotiated an agreement.
McCain on ABC's This Week isn't alone. GOP presidential contenders are also critical. ABC News political director Amy Walter.
The whole message that they want to take going forward is this guy's just in over his head on every issue.
I'm Brad Wheelis, ABC News.
Nature wastes no time renewing a forest charred by wildfire. In Minnesota's Boundary Waters Canoe area, new vegetation is already sprouting even as scattered fires still burn. Ranger Mark Van Every of the Superior National Forest says animal life will profit as a new forest replaces the old.
Should be excellent habitat for deer, grouse, for moose, and they should benefit from these changed conditions. And of course then the other animals that rely on those animals are going to find them in those areas.
Van Every says the BWCA burn area is largely flat, which will help protect against soil erosion. He says budding vegetation will hold the soil in place when spring comes. A new survey finds 54% of low-income households with children do not have broadband internet at home. Bill Hoffman with the group Connect Minnesota.
We don't know why they don't have it. It could very well, the majority of the reasons there could be cost. But when you are talking about children and digital divide and having the tools needed to compete in a 21st century economy, that becomes a different policy question.
The survey found just over half of Hispanic households in Minnesota have broadband, while 68% of seniors do not. Researchers say the number one reason Minnesotans say they started using broadband is because they need it for business. World Series tied at 2 games apiece after Derek Holland pitched into the 9th inning of the Texas Rangers' 4-0 shutout of St. Louis. Josh Hamilton hit an RBI double in the first 5 innings before Mike Napoli's 3-run homer capped the scoring.
A set, a high leg kick, and the pitch swung on and belted. Deep left field. If it's fair, it's gone. It's way back in the corner. It is history. A 3-run Jimmy Jack for Mike Napoli.
Eric Nadel on ESPN Radio Dallas as Mike Napoli hit that 3-run homer. Green Bay remains the NFL's lone unbeaten team after turning a 17-13 halftime deficit into a 33-27